This is my Cuisinart Prep 7 food processor. I've had about 10 years. Now, I did buy another machine, which is the Cuisinart Elemental 11 cup. The reason I bought that was because I was watching some reviews and I saw that it had a adjustable slicing disc, and so you can set the knob to different sizes, different thicknesses. And here it is here. This is the adjustable slicing disc. So you just turn the knob to the number you want and you have like about 22 different little settings for thickness to choose from. A couple of down things. It's a very, very light machine compared to the old Prep 7 next to it. This one's only about 3 pounds, so it's not very heavy. The reason I returned this, I was very disappointed that I had to return it, but here's why. This feed tube is in a shape of a banana or a clown's face, and it's so skinny you can barely get anything into it. Now if you take a quick look on the clear upper one, that's from the Prep 7, and that was shaped in a half moon style, and pretty much everything fit in there perfectly, that chute or the round chute. This one has a rectangular for the smaller chute, which an average size carrot doesn't even fit through. But on the plus side of this Prep 11, they have some nice features, and here's one here. The chopping blade locks in, so when you go to pour your stuff out, the blade doesn't fall out. Now here's another, the two-sided shredding disc, a fine and medium. I think that's awesome. The first thing with the Elemental Cuisinart 11 cup food processor. First problem. They decided to put this here tie on so tight that you can't get it off. So I go to cut it off, and I'm probably going to cut right into the plug. I've already tried the scissors, but that's not working at all. Tried cutting it here, but that's on purpose. I'm gonna get a knife and see if I can cut it off. Now isn't that foolish? It's completely ridiculous. I was hoping that I'd be able to pull part of the cord through it to give it some slack, but I can't do that either because it's so tight. Completely stupid. Completely stupid and unnecessary. Look at that, how tight it is. It actually has the whole thing pinched. So tight. And you can't tell me that's not on purpose. They would have had to really come on to that there that tie thing to make a mark like that. On this look at the writing on this. Okay, it's because they have that coating over this whole thing, so that the writing doesn't wear out. Now, look at this. I only got this 2 days ago. Look how the writing's already wearing out. I don't know if you can see that with this here camera, but if you're looking at it here, like I am, and I'm visually impaired, I can see that the writings are already wearing out. That's like the Cuisinart kettle that they had. Well, some stores still have it. Within a couple of months, the writing was almost completely faded where all the buttons are, on where the handle is. The writing was almost completely faded, and I've only got pictures left of it now because I gave the kettle away. But I'm going to add the pictures to this here video to show you that, you know, once the writing disappears, unless you can remember what all the buttons are, you're not going to know what they are. Nice big buttons. The lettering I can feel is embossed. Now let's see what kind of leftovers we got here. Now there's not going to be any leftovers here because we never even got to the end of the carrot. So let's see what we've got here now that we've gotten through the entire carrot. Well, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. So that's good. But I don't think that's going to fade off anytime soon. That's very nice. I really like that. And again, I like the adjustable slicing disc. I like the 11 cup instead of the 7 cup. Drawback on this, the KitchenAid, is that the motor apparently is only 360 watts. So this is an 11 cup food processor, and I went and done some research. And I'm sure you've seen those little mini choppers. They're like 3.5 cups, I believe. They're 350 watts. This full-size processor is 360 watts, a 10-watt difference for a full size. That concerns me. So, I bought yet another food processor, and I'll have that here tomorrow. And that is the Breville Sous Chef 12 cup. I'll be unboxing that and checking that out. I'll actually add it to this video, so that way there you get to see all the machines. Now this one here, I did buy brand new at Canadian Tire. It was regular $2.79 plus tax, but they had a sale on at Leon's furniture store, $100 off of this, so it was down to $179. So when I picked it up yesterday was the final day for the sale. So I did get it for $179. plus tax. The couple of reasons that I went and bought the Breville one instead of just being happy with this, because this one here so far I'm happy with, but I'd like to see if the feed chute could be just a little bit bigger. And I mean, it's a full-size food processor. I would have been happier with at least minimum 500 watts. Again, it's one of the higher end food processors. You know, it's had the 3.5 cup. Yesterday the Breville was $3.99, I believe it was, plus tax at Best Buy. But this morning when I went on the website again, they have a sale that started today with $80 off. So it's a 12 cup with an adjustable slicer, 5-inch feed tube. I just got basically the machine, 2 discs. One is the adjustable slicer and the other one is the reversible shredder from, I think, fine to coarse. And you flip it, and of course the dough blade and the chopping blade. I do believe that's everything that comes with that. This is basically the same, right? And same with this. It basically only has slicing, chopping, shredding, slicing, chopping, shredding, even though it has the plastic container with all the parts in it, which I like that too. But I'm going to hit the pulse button on here and let's see if the rest of this carrot will go through. Ooh, it got stuck. Oh. Another thing that I was reading on about this here KitchenAid, I'll put that in lock. Same thing here, this has all the safety features as well. Some people say that this is hard to remove because of the silicone gasket here to make it waterproof. I don't find it hard, and I'm weak, okay? Like, I just take it like this. One finger, I'm sliding that over, okay? So I just take it a little further and just pop it off. Like, that's not hard. We're going to take the next size feed tube out. This here's same carrot. Oh my gosh. I can't wait till tomorrow to see if the carrot's going to go through the Breville. The one thing is, if you want this to cut straight, I can't just leave it like that because it'll just bounce around. So if you want straight slices, you'll just gently put that. These machines will mostly self-feed. You might need to give it a little push, but you never have to push anything hard. If you do, then it doesn't fit. So this one was on 5. I have all kinds of thicknesses in here. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we only went on the one setting, 5. So we have that thickness, which I think that feels the same. That are that thick. And it's, you know, we didn't push. You saw that we didn't push. We didn't put any pressure on this. But I do have to say, the majority of them are about that thick. So, majority of them are about that thick. Oh, that's another thin one. So, it's kind of hard to say. There's another different thickness. It's kind of disappointing. Okay, so uneven cut. They're that thick. All right, let's see how this one turned out. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, this one's a thin one, but it's probably because it was at the end. And with that thickness, kind of two different thicknesses, a little bit in the difference. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, we've got some really nice ones. Look at this. That's nice. And these are about the same. Then so are these. So that's nice. That's a nice thickness if you wanted to have something like a cucumber that thick, tomato that thick, carrots that thick. That's a nice thickness as far as I'm concerned. And that was only on 5, so there's still a couple more thicknesses. Well, I'm assuming that's about 5. That there's at least a couple more settings you can go even thicker. So that's nice. Okay, yeah, the majority, yeah, we do have some thin ones, but the majority of them seem to be not bad. And again, it could be the carrots, because I mean they are a harder vegetable for slicing. And maybe if you had something softer, like I said, some meats, even cucumber, tomato, they might make all the difference. They might be a cleaner, straight cut evenly throughout the other vegetables on both machines. So I know I have a potato and tomato, but I'm not gonna use those today, because I only have 2 tomatoes, and I'd rather wait until tomorrow and try the tomatoes, one in the KitchenAid and one in the Breville. Okay. So until then, I just like to say thanks for watching, and thanks for taking part of your day, your time, to come and spend with me. So I hope I'm bringing you a good enough review that it was worthy of your time. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please feel free to add them to the comment box in the YouTube video. You know where I mean, down below. Okay, So until tomorrow, the following day, I'll be back. You want things to be snug, but not so tight that it won't slide through with the pusher. Now right here, see how it's kind of, it doesn't want to go in? But maybe with a little light pressure, it will. Good job, Bravo. So it's BPA free. For a thick liquid, 8 cups, 8.5 cups, 8 to 8.5 cups. For a thin liquid, you have 4 cups, maybe 4.5, which is great. Because like I said, I used my 7-cup food processor the other day to chop up a can of tomatoes for making a pasta sauce. It was such a mess, so it just went all over the machine, the counters, and oh my. So I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to have a problem there trying to break up a can of tomatoes in this baby. Okay, we have her. Oh, I know why that didn't, when I pressed that start, it's because I don't have that safety, the pusher in here. The pusher has to go in so far, and it has to trigger the little button inside here to tell the machine that this is closed over, it's safe to start the machine. It's a safety feature. So I really like the fact that these food, or at least the ones that I've been trying so far, was the Cuisinart KitchenAid and now the Breville. They all have these safety features. I really like that. Here comes our first test. Let's see if this is going to go in here. I'm going to actually put it in this way because that part will go in there. And oh yeah, it slides in pretty. Whoops, I forgot to put a blade in there. Oops. Okay, let's try this again. When I was looking at the manual, it suggests, oh, look at this. Okay, let's see if you can see that. You see it has a nice, really nice clear white line showing that when the numbers are there, that's what setting it's on. This has 22 settings. That's awesome. Goes from 0.03 millimeters to 8 millimeter thick. Like, I don't know if you can see that, I can't tell. But on here are like 1, 2, 3. I don't know if my finger's actually on that. Oh, it is 3. Not bad. Okay. And then they have little lines between. So each notch is another thickness. So their suggestion is 5 for a sandwich, for a slice of tomato for a sandwich. So that's what I'm going to do. So you just, now that I have the setting set, now I just put this. This is the first time anything is going in here. Oh, okay. I think we need to put a blade. I think we need to put the spindle in. This must be what we need. Okay. Yeah, it says with spindle. We put this on. Put my fingers here. Oh, that was nice and easy. Okay, now we put this back on. Look how easy that was. There. And you hear it lock in place, you hear the click. Now I think we're ready to put our tomato in. Try this again. Okay, so this is a slightly snug fit for it, okay? But if we're careful, we can carefully get it all the way down. Okay. See, that wasn't really tight, so I wasn't putting a lot of pressure on that to get it down there. In here we have the, oops, I just want to show you one at a time. We have the small, so by taking that out, we now have a small hole for adding celery, carrots, maybe English cucumber might fit through there, depending if that's wide enough, okay? So that's nice. And then it easily pops out. And then we have our wider feed tube. Anyway, so this is the third feed chute that you push everything down. See this little rod? So a little piece of this has to make a connection to the inner bowl so that it tells it that it's safe to turn on. Okay, so here we go. Now here's another nice part that I like about this is look how nice and deep this is for adding something. Okay, but the old Prep 7 for where you would put food here was about half the depth, which that means you have to put half the size of, say that you're doing a potato and you want the potato lengthwise. So if you don't have very much room in this here chute for it to go that way, you have to cut your potato down. The more room you have, the less chance you have to pre-cut, which is, in my mind, if you're going to use a food processor, you shouldn't have to be doing a whole bunch of pre-cutting. I mean, some, maybe, but not to the point where you're almost doing the whole job by hand before you start using the machine. Got to turn the power on. Oh, look at the lights. Well, you know what that means? If it isn't in, the lights won't go on. And even if this is in, the lights aren't going to go on until it's past that safety point. Watch. I can tell. Did you see that? It went on. See? That is so cool. I love that. Hit the pulse. Oh my gosh, that is so that, and I'm also done. Oh my goodness, that's my first thing cut. I love it, love it. Let's see how it did. Oh, I think I prefer mine a little bit thicker. This tomato was getting a little bit soft, so I'm not going to take away from it because it being too soft. Bad. See, and I think they're not fully circled because where I cut it off a little bit there, would have cut that crooked, no doubt. But I think that's not bad. And I think with a little bit of practice on how hard I can push, Yeah, I like that. I have carrots and potatoes that I'd like to try. So we put that in there. And this time I want to go to the thickest setting. I have my spindle in here. And then I'm going to take it by the hub. Then we're going to put this there. And we need our pushers. This is for just demonstration purposes, so I'm not going to bother cleaning it or anything like that. So I'm going to hit start and see what happens. Oh, look, it runs all by itself. It's fast. This is even faster than the other, the KitchenAid or the Cuisinart. And I like that this has a hub where you can carefully lift it out. Now, let's take a look at our carrots. They look pretty good to me. That's a good thickness. Like, that's a good thickness. I would like, if I do another tomato, I'm gonna do it on 8. I like that kind of thickness for a tomato. But I like that thickness there. To each their own, of course, how thick you'd like it. But yeah, let me just see here. And like I said, you know, you have to get used to how hard you can push or should push and stuff like that. Let me just take those couple of pieces there off, but look at, that's basically like you put your carrot back together. I could live with that. I'm not serving the queen, so I don't care if they're perfectly even if I was serving the queen. Oh my God, what's she gonna do? They're not perfectly sliced. I can't eat that. There's a couple that are a little bit thinner, but that could have been like at the bottom of the carrot or the top of the carrot, whatever, you know. So, not a big deal. Doesn't matter that I leave some of those in there. Like I said, this is just demonstration purposes today. Now, I want to see what kind of thickness would be nice for making a scallop potato. I'm gonna try it on a 3. And another thing, for even slices, you need to make sure, like if you're gonna cut the end, that it has to be cut straight. Because if it's gonna go in crooked, then the pieces are gonna come out crooked. And where I'm visually impaired, I can't really tell if it's completely straight. So that is part of what happened with the tomato too, is that I more than likely sliced it on an angle a little bit. So that's why they didn't come out in nice perfect circles, which is fine with me. Now, I'm gonna put my potato in there. So this is not a bad sized potato. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to put it in standing up. Put my pusher in. This might shut off on its own after a minute or two if it's not being in use, because the power light went out. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, so I know that I'm in far enough because the lights came on. I'm just loving this. see if those are good for scalloped potatoes. They're kind of thick for scalloped potato. So I'm going to set this. It's not bad, but it's still, for scalloped potatoes, they should be a little thinner than that. They should probably be down to maybe a 1. So I'm going to try this one on 1, see how thin they get. And here's our scrap. That's definitely going to be going in crooked, okay? But that's okay, I don't mind that. Oh, it wasn't done. No scrap. Oh wow. These are good for potato chips. If I learn how to make potato skip. If I learn how to make potatoes chips, look how thin that is. That's awesome. So one is a little bit too thin for scalloped potato. So 2 is probably going to be perfect. This is cool. Like there's a bunch of slices right here. And they're all pretty darn even. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna take a short break. I'm a little bit tired because I tire easily because I'm an old granny. Anyways, okay, when I come back, I think we're gonna try to shred some cheese. Okay, I just noticed that the audio was off. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Now, here's our cheese. Look at that. All shredded nicely. Oh, and here's our waste. Okay. Hi. I'm doing another review of another food processor. But not to worry, this is the last food processor. I made my choice, and this is the winner. It is the Breville 16-cup food processor with the case. Breville 16-cup sous chef. Model number BFP 800. I think there's an XL at the end, but on the book it just says 800. The reason that I wound up returning the 12-cup Breville food processor was because I didn't realize that I couldn't store all the pieces inside the bowl. You know, the slicing disc, the dough hook, the blades, all that good stuff, okay? I couldn't store that in here. With the Cuisinart Prep 7, I was able to store all my parts in there. But so, when I had the 12-cup Breville, I didn't have any place to put the parts, so they were just sitting on my counter. I had considered going to buy the plastic case, but they were out of stock. And so I went and looked online to buy the plastic case. They were out of stock. And I checked a few other places and everybody was out of stock. So this here was around 600, I think it was, or something like that. And around 600 bucks Canadian and tax. So while I hemmed and hawed, deciding what to do about the food processor, this one wound up going on sale for 150 bucks off. So that brought this down to $450 with the case and all these parts. The only part that I don't have is the dicing kit. So I'm thinking if I want the dicing kit down the road, I can always order that from Breville.ca. So I wound up getting this here for $450. So the reason I didn't wind up keeping the 12, like I said, was because I had no place to put the pieces. And with this going on sale, I decided to snap it up. So this is it. So I got the big 16 cup, got the case, bunch of parts, mini bowl, everything. So $450. So I didn't find that too bad. So I'm happy. And this has nice rubberized feet to keep it from moving around. Not that it's gonna move around. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say that this is probably, and I could be way off on the weight because I'm only guessing. I'm gonna say this is probably close to 15 pounds. It's big. It's huge. It's heavy. Has a nice big feed chute, 5.5 inches. It has a small pusher. It's kind of weird that they didn't put a hole. I thought that this had a hole, but that's just part of the pusher. But I found that kind of weird that they don't have a hole there for liquid to drip through, like oil or whatever, you know, if you're making a salad dressing or adding liquid to your dough or something like that. But it's only a pusher and it has a cover with it and measurements on it. And then here we have this part of the pusher. So see, it's all nice and to make it kind of grips on there to push your food down. So, and with our buttons, here we have a timer and we have our pulse, and so this is where you would press it and just let it run on its own, or you would press this down while you're pulsing, so you can stop it quickly, okay? And this keeps track of how long it took to grate each thing or slice each thing or whatever it is you're doing. And then another thing with this, it also has, if something is not working right on here, like say that you don't have the bowl on right, it apparently tells you little things like that. Bowl not locked, or no blade, or something along that line. I haven't seen it yet, but just saying. And 2 minutes. So you can set your timer here for button here. And see right here. Goes by 5-second increments. And so then once you have that set, then you'd hit your start button, because this one here runs on its own, and you can let it do its thing. For like the other food processors, the Cuisinart, KitchenAid, Hamilton Beach. I didn't buy Hamilton Beach, but I've seen some of the food processors, and those ones you have to kind of push a button down. Thanks for watching my videos and, you know, taking part of your day to spend with me. I really appreciate that, and I'm a little bit not well, so I'm not always up for this review is going to be the longest one that I've ever done, because I have 4 food processors that I'm going to be showing you. And you know, it starts with the Prep 7, then it goes to the Cuisinart Elemental piece of garbage. I mean, food processor. The KitchenAid food processor, and because then it's the Breville 12 cup, and now the Breville 16 cup. I've been busy. I'm just going to list off the parts here and try to show you them right there. So it starts off with saying the small pusher, big pusher, and nice wide feed chute. 5.5 inches, that's big. Processor lid right here. That's the lid. Okay. I don't know why it's a little bit stiff. Maybe it's because it's new, I don't know. And then there's this part of the bowl here that you lock in place. Okay. This machine will not start. It's a safety feature. This machine will not start unless this here feed chute is in past a certain point. With this here stem has to be connected to. They have to meet. Because what it does, it triggers the machine. It tells the machine, okay, the cover's in, the pusher's in far enough, it's safe to turn this machine on. Without that in there, it will not start. If one of these, the bowl or the cover, is not locked in place properly, it will not start. One thing on the 12 cup I liked is that these lights here only went on once the pusher was in far enough, but this one doesn't do that. Another thing, I don't think this shuts off after a minute or so, whereas for the 12 cup one does shut off. The motor for this, I believe, is 1200 watts. Around the lid in here, if you can see this here black strip, that's a silicone gasket, a silicone ring, whatever you want to call it. That keeps liquids from spilling out. And you can put a lot of liquids in here. Let me see if I can make that out. Okay, so it says max for thin liquid, so I guess water, something thin like that, would be 5 to 5.5 cups. And for thicker liquids, you can put up to 10.5 cups. So these have 4 non-skid safety rubber feet. In our container, we have a julienne disc, a French fry disc, a reversible shredding disc, adjustable slicing disc, emulsifying disc, an S-blade, chopping disc, dough blade, the mini processing blade, the disc spindle, storage case itself, and there's a cleaning brush, there's a plastic spatula. Okay, so I think I primed everything off. So the manual shows you how to assemble the whole thing. It gives you tips on certain things, like say that you're using the adjustable slicing blade. It has a section in here from A to Z they have suggestions on how thick they suggest to have it for, say, like say a tomato for a sandwich. They say, I believe they say 5. Like they say here, right? What they just give suggestions if you're using it for this or that. Here's what they would suggest. Doesn't mean you have to follow it. You cut them. I called the food processor police, and they said it's okay, dear. They said you're allowed to choose what thickness you want. So I breathed a sigh of relief and started picking out whatever thicknesses I wanted. I'm not sure, I didn't read whether these parts are dishwasher safe or not. Personally, I would not put this here kind of stuff into a dishwasher because it's going to, over time, it'll start etching it and start making it like foggy like, you know? So you wouldn't be able to, it wouldn't be nice and clear to see what you're doing. So I've been finding that it's just quick, easy, 2 minutes. As soon as I'm done with whatever I'm making, at the very minimum, I just give it a quick rinse. I might leave it sit on the side of the counter with some water and dish detergent in it and hand wash it the next day or later that evening or whatever. But I would not put I'm not going to be putting any of my parts in the dishwasher. The blades and things like that over here, I think they would be okay to go into the dishwasher. Although I haven't done that yet either. I've been just hand washing them. So if I fill this with soap and water, then I just throw the blades inside there, let them soak until I'm ready to wash them. This is the hub. The black pieces are the hub where you can hold them safely. I think I should have used a bigger knife. The cabbage is getting a little bit old. I'm just going to cut up whatever I can right now. As I said before, I'm visually impaired, so I might be cutting off way more than I need to, but that's fine. to do some groceries. Not my best feeling, but oh well. So we're going to use the coarse shred. If I flip the shredding disc over, it would be fine. And that fine is about the fineness of, if you've ever had KFC coleslaw, that's how fine that this would be. But I'm having coarse. That took 2 seconds. So here's our waste, and so here's how it looks. Okay. No, guess it's on course. That's that.